What up everyone, Magpie Gaming here, bringing you your weekly roundup of PUBG news. A lot of news to go through this week, so I'm just going to get started and jump straight into it. First off, we've had the news that there is going to be no single player for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Now this has been something that Brendan Green has spoken about since the inception of Battlegrounds basically, that he'd always looked to do a single player for the game, something that would explain the reasoning behind the island and the characters and things like that. And I think it was around 2 months ago he stated that was still something that he wanted to do, but it was hard to do at that moment in time because obviously the development team was very busy pushing to get the PC release done, and they were also now working on the Xbox release. And then he's come out, I think it was in the last week, and said that there just aren't the resources or the time to do a single player, and he doesn't believe that there will be any time soon, so it's going to be something that will be shelved basically for the foreseeable future, if not for good. So it's not completely off the radar, but it definitely is now for a while until the development team are freed up. At whatever point that will be, there's a lot of work still to be done. So, but for now, no single player for Battlegrounds. Next bit of news I've got for you is that it looks like PUBG is going to be banned in China. Now, it's one of its biggest player bases is in China. As we all know from the banning statistics, there is a lot of bans in China for cheating, but it is also one of its biggest areas where it sells in Asia. But it's looking like it's going to be banned now. According to watchdogs in China, the game is a deviation from the country's socialist core values and traditional Chinese culture and ethical norms, as was detailed in a post that was put out by Bloomberg. And the Chinese watchdog also reckons that PUBG is not conducive to the physical and mental health of young consumers. And they basically go on to put in this translated document that they don't think it's conducive to young people to be playing games like this, and they shouldn't be publicly promoted and things like that. So that would be a bit of a blow to PUBG if it was to be banned in China, although I'm sure that Chinese people will find a way around that. The country is notorious for banning and trying to restrict things, especially internet access and the things that people can play, but I think they always find a way around it. There's always some way to get past the blocks and restrictions that the government place on them. So at the moment it's up in the air whether it will be banned or not, but obviously the Chinese government and their advisors aren't too happy with this game right now and the kind of violence and gameplay that it depicts. So, you know, Chinese government, chill out. Jesus, it's just a freaking computer game, for God's sake, let people play it. I felt quite important and I just addressed the whole government. But yeah, it's stupid. It is ridiculous to restrict a game or to ban it due to the kind of violence that you see in it. It's just a game, you know. People need to get past this whole, oh, video games turn people violent and blah blah blah. What a load of crap. That's a load of rubbish. But anyway, I digress. So next we move on to the big news of the week, and that is that we have dates for the early access of Battlegrounds on the Xbox, and we also have a rough estimate of when we will get the 1.0 version for the PC. So on the 12th of December, via the game preview program on Xbox, Battlegrounds will be coming to Xbox One owners, and for those of us on the PC, the 1.0 version will be released at some point in late December. They're still not giving a specific date, but they say it will be definitely in late December. The PC 1.0 version will release with the new vaulting and jumping mechanics, and it will also release with the new desert map. Now on the Xbox, and this is quite a controversial one, it's going to be coming to you through the game preview program, but it is also going to launch with in-game purchases available, and these will be in the guise of free crates that you will be able to buy, and these are the Warrior Pack, the Accessory Pack, and the Tracksuit Pack. Now that's going to cause a bit of controversy. It's of course still early access on the Xbox, but they're also going to be offering you in-game purchases from the off. Now on the PC we had to wait until Gamescom to be offered in-game purchases in the guise again of loot crates that you could buy that had Gamescom specific clothing in. That caused controversy. This is going to do the same because you're not having to wait for these, you're just going to get them from the off, which might annoy a few people, but there you go. Anyway, Battlegrounds will not be playable in 4K on the Xbox One, but it will be enhanced and feature HDR, so that's a plus for you guys on the Xbox. Now the CEO of PUBG, Chang Han Kim, I hope I've pronounced that right, has said that both versions of the game, the Xbox version and the PC version, will eventually end up being at the same point with each other, but right now they have slightly separate roadmaps. Of course, when the Battlegrounds releases on the Xbox, it will be roughly what we have now on the PC. You won't have the vaulting and jumping mechanics, I don't believe, and you won't have the desert map, but you will soon get them after the release from what I'm reading on the internet right now. But they said the functionality on the Xbox One version will be different as well, because you'll have mechanics such as auto aim, which is something that you're going to need, especially using a controller. But they say that eventually both versions will align with each other. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of sales figures we get on the Xbox with this, and whether there's any more controversy kicked up about being able to instantly buy in-game cosmetic items, although they will be limited edition. So yeah, we'll have to see on that one. It's also going to be interesting to see whether the price point of Battlegrounds changes on the PC once it leaves early access. Now, we've seen games, most recently this year, Ark Survival Evolved, that went from early access into a full-blown title, and the price changed wildly, which annoyed a lot of people. And looking at Steam Spy this week, I have noticed that since this news broke about it going into the PC 1.0 version, it has, since the 27th of this month, well, the 27th of October, sorry, up until today, the 2nd of November, it has spiked in sales by nearly 2 million. So on the 27th, it was at around 17.4 million in sales, and as of today, it's currently hitting 19.3 million, so almost 2 million in sales in just over, 5 days. So it could be that people are preempting a price rise and have decided to invest in the game now while it's still relatively cheap, or it could be that there's just a lot more buzz around this game and it's spiked the sales again. As I mentioned in a previous video, there was a massive spike in sales of around 3 million, and there seemed to be no actual reason for that one. But we've had a lot of news about this game this week, so it could be that it's just the extra column inches that it's gained have meant that a lot more people have decided to jump in, especially while the price point is at what it is right now. So some very, very big news for PUBG this week. We are finally going to leave the early access phase for the PC. Xbox owners are going to get a taste of the game, and it looks as though for the Xbox version it won't be in early access as long as we have been on the PC. I think they're definitely going to push that forward. Having an enhanced version and HDR support is amazing. Hopefully the HDR support will come over to the PC at some point. HDR monitors are now becoming a lot more prevalent within the market, and I think that's something that some players will call for. So 4K support is something that would be good on the Xbox as well. That would boost the sales there, and like I say, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of sales it does actually do on the Xbox. When you read the comments, there's a lot of Xbox players saying that it just won't translate over to the Xbox, whereas there's a lot of players saying that they can't wait to get their hands on it. You know, they don't want this just to be a PC only game, they want it on the consoles. There's also word that it will be coming to the PS4 at some point. Apparently Bluehole are in talks with Sony to bring it over to their console, but there's going to be a slightly longer roadmap with that, because we know that Sony are a lot more strict on preview titles coming to the PlayStation. You know, if they just lay back off that a little bit, a lot of people would be warm to Sony a lot more. Xbox, they're a lot more open to allowing unfinished games on their platform now. They realise that indie developers and other developers, you know, sometimes want to do an early access phase because that is the best way to get to a finished version. So all being well, it'll come to the PlayStation 4 at some point. I'm massively hyped for the 1.0 version though, and to know that that's when we will get the new map. As I've said in other videos, this map, and a lot of people I play PUBG with will feel exactly the same. This map's stale now. We've played it to death. We've had it since March. You know, we've had it for months and months and months. Still enjoy it, but it'd be nice to have a new map and have somewhere new to explore. So yeah, that's pretty much all the news I've got on PUBG for you this week. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the video, and thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.